So our next storyteller is Margaret Charlebois, nee Gilmore, and she's going to appear to us both via video and in person. And her story is set in the neighborhood of Rabbit Lake, and she'll set the scene for us with the video, and then she'll tell us about a day in the life of Margaret growing up in the neighborhood in the 1960s. So here's, I don't know, Margaret, if you want to come out now?
Yep, sure.
Here she is, Margaret Charlebois.
Good morning. Oh, she's right, you can't see anybody. I guess I don't have to picture you naked. So anyway, I want to bring a memory I had this morning about being on this stage. When I was in grade 8, I got chosen to come here and do a poem. And this morning the memory came back, and I just remember Mrs. Dorothy Beach being at the back of the room and going like this because I needed to project my voice. So I had to text her this morning and tell her that and thank her for being able to let me be brave enough to stand up here. I'm Margaret Charlebois, and I'm standing at the end of Bunny Street, overlooking fabulous Rabbit Lake. This road ended right here before. Now it goes all the way to Kilpatrick. But before, there was a little cubby hole here where at night, cars with teenagers in it would drive in and spend a little time there, we'll say gazing at the stars. So this road, Bunny Street, used to be called the Agricultural Building because behind me was a huge building, and the farmers would have their fair there. They would have vegetables and fruits and flowers and bring them to get them a prize. And then to that side, there was also a corral where they would bring their cows and their prize pigs and again, hope to win some kind of prize. And over here, where the sportsplex is now, was an open field where the midway would come while the agricultural fair was going on. And it was great for all the kids in the area. And they had all the things that the kids liked, the Ferris wheel. And the only sad part was those poor horses that had to go around and around in a circle. I always felt so bad for them. And the trailer park was always here. But it was probably only half of what it is now. And in front of that, there's 2 baseball fields. It wasn't always baseball fields. It used to be what we called the sawdust fields. And what happened was, when the mill was running, they would come with dump truck loads of wood chips and sawdust and dump them on these 2 fields. Now, we really don't know exactly what was in the wood chips, but as kids, we loved it because we could go there and play and try to make tunnels and forts. And I actually think my brother tried to run away from home once, and he got as far as hiding behind a sawdust pile. So all along the road here, there was 2 ditches, much deeper than they are now, full of water. There was all kinds of creatures in there, like tadpoles and frogs and snakes and things that children love to catch, and they would take them home and think that they could keep them as pets. But much to their demise, those poor little creatures usually never made it back to the water. There was only 2 houses on this street when I lived here. The Montagnans was the first house, and this property was my parents' home, and they lived there, Reg and Marion Gilmore, and then I lived there, and now my son lives there with his children. So there's 4 generations of Gilmore descendants living in the same property, and that is one of the reasons why this area is so near and dear to me. Down at the end of the road, there was a small tourist cabin. There was 5 cabins there. And I don't know if it was Johnson's cabins first or Jones's cabins first, but whatever. It was just a small, maybe 5 cabins for people to come in the summer and enjoy the lake like everybody else did. The beach was really long. It would start at the end of Bunny Street, and it went all the way past the trailer park. And it was huge back then. There was lots of sand, lots of space between the road and the water, and you could actually put a blanket down, put your towels down, get a suntan, bury your friends in the sand. It was well used by all the children in the neighborhood. All the lake people from Valley Drive and the airport road, they'd all come here to enjoy this beach. I got in contact, there was 2 docks. There were 2 docks here when I grew up. The one right here, it's gone now, was the I dock because it was shaped like an I, the letter I. And over by the trailer park was the F dock because it was shaped like the letter F. And I think the I dock was built by the International Rotary Club, and that's maybe why it's called the I dock. And right in front of this lake, or the end of Bunny Street here, was Lover's Rock. It's covered up by lots of foliage right now, but it used to be perfect for 2 people to just sit in. It was like a lounge chair, and they could cuddle in there and perhaps steal their first summer kiss. So I've contacted Josh Peacock, and he gave me a few facts about the lake. It's about 2 kilometers long and half a kilometer wide. I think at the deepest points, it's not much than 20, 25 feet. I don't even know if it's that deep right in the middle. And there's 10 to 14 different species of fish in this lake. And it actually drains into the Winnipeg River, and there is a small dam at the end that is regulated. And there's also it's fed by fresh water, as there's a spring at the other end of the lake at Houghton's Beach, which was another tourist camp way back when. And we used to drink that water right out of the ground. It was wonderful. And so there was also a store over here, where Wise's store, you could get your groceries and whatnot. But now I think I've told you enough sort of facts about the lake and about Rabbit Lake. And now I'm going to go and let you know what it would be like for a child to have a typical day at Rabbit Lake Beach.
So just one small correction. I said the Rotary Club built the I-Dock, but it was the International Lions Club that built the I-Dock, because sometimes we'd call it the Lions Dock. So I hope that gave you a bit of the layout of the land, and that was filmed on Bunny Street at Rabbit Lake that's shaped like a bunny. So if you ask me, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from town. Today, the beach is located on the east side of the lake. It's called Garrow Beach, and it is a great place for childhood memories. It has a kids' playground area, outdoor exercise equipment, public washrooms, and a rowing club that hosts local, national, and international regattas. There's an accessible trail built by the Rotary Club and 8 pickleball courts used by over 200 members and the public. All of these things have enhanced the lake. But right now, I want to talk to you about the beach, when it started at the end of Bunny Street by Lover's Rock, ran down past the trailer park, but not as far as Pestalozzi's auto garage. Hopefully, I can portray to you the things that could have happened on a typical summer day to a young person living in this vicinity in the mid-60s. It was a time when children roamed the earth. No cell phones, no life jackets or floaties or water shoes. Really, the parents had no idea where their children were for hours. And I will be presenting this as if it's a chapter from a book that I will read to you. It's morning, And I know this because every morning I listen to the bird call, 1 short, 4 long. I think it is a white-throated sparrow. Sometimes I whistle at the bird, and it whistles back, 1 short, 4 long. This call I remember forever. I walk down to the beach, and no one is here yet, but I can tell it's going to be a hot day, as there seems to be a slight blue haze hanging over the lake. I breathe deeply, taking in the morning air, and realize the haze is just leftover smoke from all the cigarettes people used to have. The little floating island is not here today. It had been drifting this way as the wind and rain sometimes brings it to this end of the lake. I suppose it's back in its usual resting spot near Houghton Beach at the other end of the lake, waiting to sail again when the water is high. With no one to play with yet, I head up behind the agricultural building and the trailer park to a trail that leads to the airport road. Along the side of the trail are many wild blueberries and strawberries that I pick to have with my breakfast. On the way home, I notice that the agricultural fair and Midway are setting up for a few rides and exhibits. This will be fun for the kids, but misery for the parents who will be bombarded by money to go on the rides. I continue home on a different trail that leads to the backyard of a neighbor, and she grows an actual strawberry patch in her garden. I snatch a big, juicy red one and hurry on home. I get a strange look from my mother when she sees that one berry is significantly bigger than the rest. After breakfast, I see a friend, trying to catch frogs along the ditches in front of my house. So I hurry out and try to catch one larger than hers. When we both have one, we are careful not to squeeze too hard. We go and put them in a container with a bit of water and grass, thinking these will be our lifelong pets. Before long, we are instructed we must return them to the ditches. And I knew that sometimes they didn't make it, and for that I am truly sad. My friend and I walked to the beach again, but still not a huge crowd, so we decide to take another trail at the end of Bunny Street, and that leads to the Rabbit Lake Drive-In Theater. I heard that sometimes a band would play on the roof of the projection building. I also knew that some kids at dark would sneak to the last row of speakers and try to watch the movie until the owner, old Mr. McIntosh, would catch them, and chase them away. I really enjoy the playground at the drive-in, as there seems to be many kids from the surrounding area playing here. There are slides and swings and teeter-totters that I could bounce my friend or brother really hard when they were up in the air, mostly my brother. There is also a mini golf course, but that costs money, so we rarely got to play golf. We get dizzy on the merry-go-round and decide to go home for lunch. We cannot get one of those delicious foot-long hot dogs only sold at the drive-in. After lunch, I hear laughter and splashing from the beach, and it's getting louder and louder. So I walk down, and I have to weave around the cars lined up along the road. And now the beach is full of kids and teenagers and families. It's hard to find a spot to lay my towel down. I am careful not to get sand on my towel, as that feels like sandpaper after a day of swimming. I look towards the end of the dock where all the kids are hanging out. I walk there and find the spot that I want to jump in from. But before I do, I get pushed in by a teenage boy. Well, I get right back up on the dock and I get pushed in again. And I think, he must really like me. So I think I will outsmart him and swim out towards the middle of the lake. I stop suddenly and gasp as I see it, the fin of old One-Eye, the biggest jackfish on the lake, swimming towards me. He is a legend in the area, ugly because a fishhook had snagged one of his eyes and left it half hanging out. He had been snagged once, but was smart enough not to get caught again. To us, he is as big as the Loch Ness Monster and just as elusive. I quickly swim back to the dock like an Olympic champion, feeling positive something touched my toes. As I get back to the dock, I'm hoping to get pushed in again by that teenager. But notice he's on Lover's Rock with a girl from Valley Drive. Oh, those rich kids from Valley Drive. They had cars and running water from taps. At least I was successful at getting away from old One-Eye. My friend and I stood on the dock, often jumping into other kids as we laughed, and we would bump shoulders, and we continued to jump in and out of the water. We decide to see if we can swim underwater all the way from the I dock to the F dock in front of the trailer park. We take a deep, deep breath and we dive in, kicking as hard as we can, thinking we can actually do this. We rise up out of the water, out of breath, and realize we're 10 feet from where we jumped in. Many kids have tried this, and I have never seen it completed, although it was a daily task. Defeated, we return to the dock and watch some teenagers cradling huge rocks in their arms. They jump in soldier style, using the rock as an anchor. The contest is to see who can stay on the bottom the longest. Between that and trying to swim from one dock to another underwater, it's no wonder a lot of us lost a few brain cells. As we continue to swim, we notice a crowd gathering on the lawn in front of the trailer park. We hear some rock and roll music, and we go see what it's all about. There's a live band playing on the lawn, and people are dancing. I hear someone say, "It's Satan and the demon." I notice a few of the female teenagers wearing white boots. I think they call them go-go boots. I think this is amazing, and I want to wear boots too. So I run home and find a pair of boots. Not white, but black with orange trim. The gum rubber boots. I proudly go back and dance with the rest. This was a great day, Satan and the demon playing at Rabbit Lake Beach. The afternoon drifts on, and the agricultural fair in Midway is in full swing. A few of us go and stand close to the poor, overworked ponies that have to go round and round with a delighted child on their back. We stand here because soon the ponies would be in need of water. We beg the workers to let us lead the ponies to the lake. A lot of people have left the beach now, so it's not a problem to take them there. They ask us if we can handle the job, and we assure them we are experts with horses. Why they let us take the ropes, I do not know. And of course, the ponies pulled away from our tiny hands and ran off feeling free, being chased all over the sawdust field by the workers. But they just wanted water, and eventually they go to the lake where the workers could retrieve them. Sometimes the workers would give us a nickel for trying to help, and we would immediately run over to Canfield's store in front of the trailer park and buy an ice cream cone or a bag of mixed up candy. As evening approaches, there's only a handful of kids left at the lake. And at this time, the mothers in the area decide to bring their kids home for the night. One by one, they fling open their doors like a bunch of birds from a cuckoo clock and scream their child's name into the night air. Richard, Ellen, and my name, because it was a bit longer, my mother made it sound like a musical note. Margaret! All the kids now are getting out of the water. Our lips are blue and we're shivering, looking for a towel that has been on the beach, full of sand, stepped on by everybody who passed by. I want to tell you about the towel. It didn't have a fancy sports logo on it, or a hood-lined fleece that covered you from head to toe. It was usually a towel your mother didn't want anymore. It had a few holes in it, and was about as big as a tea towel. But it was enough to cover your shoulders and let you run home in bare feet for the night. And now the beach is quiet again. Everyone is gone. The moon shines and reflects on the gentle waves. The kids are tucked into bed, and all is quiet, except for the frogs. Those glorious frogs. It was like a symphony of croaks and rivets rising in unison like a great crescendo. And then we were asleep. And we went to sleep to that sound every night, dreaming of doing it all over again the next day. A lot of families in the area were definitely not rich by any means, except those Valley Drive girls. But we were so rich to live at Rabbit Lake. We could walk to school. We had the drive-in playground, an ice cream and candy store, wild berries to pick, many kids to play with, and of course the beach at Rabbit Lake. Wait, did you hear that? Margaret, I have to go home.